When it comes to barriers to interprovincial trade, you probably don't think about tolls on a bridge unless you live on Prince Edward Island. The Confederation Bridge is a 13-kilometre span connecting P.E.I. to the mainland. It's the only road connecting the island to the rest of Canada. And today, the federal government announced that the toll is about to drop by more than 50%.
If we're going to build a stronger, more united economy, and we are doing that, we are going to need to make it more affordable to travel around this country for people and for businesses. And that's what we're doing today.
Starting Friday, it'll cost $20 to cross the bridge, down from just over $50. Ferry fares in Eastern Canada also being cut in half. Laura Meter takes us through the reaction.
Many are thrilled it will soon be cheaper to take the bridge or ferry. It means friends might visit more and islanders can afford a few more trips.
It's exciting because it was really expensive leaving P.E.I. and paying $50 every time you have to leave. So
me and my daughter are probably going on a trip probably next summer. But yeah, that's going to help us too. Yes, yeah.
This islander is living on disability benefits and says cheaper fares will make a difference.
So I'm really excited that they have reduced it because it might give me some more freedom.
This trucking company hauls everything from potatoes to seafood to gravel. It says it will cost less to get goods off the island, but the company will also be charging customers less.
On a load going to Toronto, I may bill $45 or $50 less a load because I'm not being charged that amount. So in generalization, the island, I think, will benefit from this.
Supply and services is very important to the industry, and if we can reduce our costs in getting our materials off island or to the island, certainly helps.
Most are happy to hear about the savings, but some, especially in eastern P.E.I., worry there will be less money to help fund the ferry.
Well, it's great for truckers and stuff, but they also need money to run the fair, so it's pretty hard to say which is best, right? It's good for some and not good for others. I worry about if they're going to be able to get a ferry that is fit to run.
Making sure that what's left is sufficient for the maintenance and the long-term operation of the ferry. And if there's money that's needed, has it been identified, the source of what's going to be needed to top that up?
The Eastern P.E.I. Chamber of Commerce says it still has lots of questions, but the hope is cheaper fares will bring in more tourists to the region. Everyone is anxious to see how much traffic will head to P.E.I. on Friday. Laura Meter, CBC News, Charlottetown.
We're going to get some analysis on this in just a moment, but first, let's hear some more reaction from the island.
I think that's awesome. I feel like people should be able to come here and leave at their own volition, I guess. And I feel like if it's more accessible, then the more people will get here, and it's such a beautiful island and we want to share it. So why not?
I mean, honestly, I'd been hearing rumors of this for a long time, and I just never thought it was going to happen. It's really thrilling to see that there was actually follow through on this one, and it's going to make a huge difference.
Means more trips to Costco. Gonna be a little bit cheaper. I mean, it'd be nice if it was free, but $20 is $20.
I mean, it's nice to save an extra $30 for tourists in the one-off, but I think the bigger savings would come from volume, and especially freighters coming in and out. You know, my family are potato farmers, so getting the trucks across a little bit more easily just makes it easier to connect it to the rest of the country.
It's more affordable, definitely, more accessible to tourists. They'll have to put it in their budget, knowing that they're coming here. That's still part of budget planning. For the P.E.I. resident, maybe it's still too steep. Maybe you can have a tourist fee versus a resident fee.
All right, let's bring in Laurie Brinklow for more analysis. She's an assistant professor and chair of the Institute of Island Studies at the University of Prince Edward Island. Professor Brinklow, what does this mean for the citizens of P.E.I.?
This is a huge deal, Ian. It's incredible news. We've been waiting for this for a really long time. Senator Percy Down has led the charge all these years. Probably, I can't remember when he started talking about reducing the tolls. Islanders are, it's expensive to live on an island. And this is just going to be a game changer for so many islanders, so many businesses, people coming to Prince Edward Island. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what transpires from it all.
Okay, well, speaking about people going to Prince Edward Island, I remember when the bridge was being built, and some people were worried that the influx of visitors would change the island culture. So with the toll going down, how much of a concern is that now?
It's going to be a concern, but we're resilient, and we have a thriving tourism industry with a lot of smart people here who are making sure that Prince Edward Island is a welcoming place to be. Of course, sometimes over tourism gets us a little bit grumpy, but we know that it's a very short window, and it's one of our biggest industries. So I think that we will get through, and it's not going to change who we are. We are islanders. Even though there's a bridge that connects us to the mainland, and it will be a little bit cheaper to get across, quite a lot actually, and the ferry is going to be cheaper, it's still very much an island. We have a very strong sense of islandness. That island consciousness is there in everything that we do.
So let's talk about the economic impact in a couple of ways. First of all, in that piece that Laura did, we heard from somebody talking about trips to Costco. So that Costco's in Moncton, obviously, and so it takes, going across the bridge from Prince Edward Island to go there. A lot of people from the island go to Moncton or Halifax to do things. So from a kind of a family pocketbook standpoint, what will this mean for people on the island?
I think people will continue to do it. They've been doing it now, even though it costs $50.25 or more to take the ferry. They'll continue to do it, and the people who don't do it won't go. And we're probably going to be getting our own Costco. That's the big rumor next that's supposed to happen in Edward Island. So stay tuned. But at the same time, people coming here, right? And it's easier here. Yeah.
It's always awkward to do these interviews where there's a bit of a delay back and forth. So sorry for interrupting. Let's talk about the bigger economic impact. And again, we heard from a trucker who talked about how it's going to reduce his cost every time he crosses. But give us the broader view of what this will mean for the island economy.
I think it's going to really help. Of course, the truckers and the people carrying goods back and forth, it's going to put more money in our pockets because our groceries are not going to have to, it's not going to cost as much for cost of living. And to send our stuff out into the world, I think it's really important in this day and age with everything going on in the world that we have those strong links with other provinces, especially in the Maritimes. I think that this is really going to strengthen Atlantic Canada in the rest of Canada, especially now that Newfoundland as well and the Magdalen Islands, all of these places have their links have been lowered as well. And so that strengthening is just going to really help this region in general.
What about the costs? We're living in a time, maybe this has always been the case, where debts and deficits are an issue. Presumably the toll on there was to help pay for a very expensive bridge. Should we be concerned about the economic impact of all of this revenue being lost to the federal government?
I think it's going to be made up in other ways. It's going to be made up in the kinds of the goods and services that are going to be generated from this event. And so I will balance out. Of course, we've always had transfer payments, and we will continue to have transfer payments, just being our small size. And our economy is such a small sliver of what Canadians is. But it's also a matter of fairness. The Champlain Bridge was built, no question. There was no toll put on it. And yet here we are, a province, and we were having to pay tolls. So I think it's also, I think it's part of the federal government's responsibility. And I'm really, really pleased that it's finally happened, that constitutional promise for a continuous link to the mainland has been fulfilled by doing this.
Professor Brinklow, thank you very much for speaking with us.
You're welcome, and thank you for asking.
Laurie Brinklow, an assistant professor and chair of the Institute of Island Studies at the University of Prince Edward Island.